Hey everyone, welcome to Mystic Journeys with HB. I'm Derek and Nerdy. How are you guys?
Doing good. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, man. I was just gonna say it's the WayBack Wednesday episode. It's got a great episode today. The gist of the talk is about listening more than you talk, actually. So we're gonna talk about listening. It's gonna be great. And you guys know what day it is. Go ahead and pull it
Yep,
down, Nerdy.
yep. Got my can. It's loaded, ready to go.
Go ahead, give us a shake. Yep. Okay. Way different this time. It's different every time. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, we'll give you guys drop a couple hints in the show along the way as it gets closer to the middle of the show, and then we'll get into our reading here in just a second, you guys.
I have no idea.
Say again, Derek.
I have
didn't
no
hear you,
idea.
man.
It sounds the same, doesn't it? It's just
I don't think it sounds different each time. I guess because I'm a musician, I can hear like the slight different tone frequencies and stuff like that.
yeah. You have an ear.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It
I'll
sounds
go
different to me
ahead.
every time, I think.
I'll go ahead and
Go
give
ahead.
one clue. It,
Drop it.
it was a accidental invention.
Okay. Pretty broad, but it's getting us started. It's getting us started. I like it. Nourished. We got Mark, David. Cheers, everyone. Thank y'all for being here. Laura, Richard, man, thank y'all so much for y'all support and showing up every show, man. It's so great to have y'all be here every show. Great group of people, and couldn't ask for a better group, honestly. Thank you guys. And I love Derek's talk on Tuesday, just yesterday on Bible studies, and I wanted to pick up on that because it's like I was just telling Nerdy last night as we were hanging out. I was like, I was just having this feeling overcome me on Monday. Like I should tell these boys like how much I enjoy doing the show with them because I probably already have before, but it's important to show your friends what you mean whenever you get along with them and how they what they mean to you and like how what they do means to you. And you said it perfectly about how like we ebb and flow so easy. We get along so well. We have disagreements and differences like anybody else, but we're able to just get right by those things because we have like the similar goals in mind. So I like that. I appreciate working with you guys. Everything.
I should point
Yeah,
out
man, it could be better on that.
what I'm planning on giving away. I have some
Okay.
genetics. So I've got some ghost and some ochra ceocentrata black caps. And these
Yeah, I
ones
got a
are
ghost in here.
vigorous.
Show
They're
off.
close relative to cubensis, and they grow a little bit easier and faster, I think. But
And it's just not
so
starting to get off to
two
the
cups,
edge after about a
two
week.
different genetics. And if you don't know how to get started, I can help you get started with stuff from the dollar store.
Definitely. I'm about to start mine right now. I already have started my bag, so I'm about to actually bring in the substrate. And I'm also going to do this with that bag that you
Sweet.
sent. Let me grab that too. Just kind of show people what if they are in the Colorado area, they can go meet up with you over there in the Colorado Micro Link and get grow bags all in one. This one is wheat, and there was also some rye bags there as well too. Or no, not rye, but Milo.
Milo. Yep, red
And
Milo.
then Ghost, and what's the other strain that you have?
I have ochra ceocentrata black caps. So it's
Perfect.
cubes. It's like cubensis's older cousin or older brother.
Cool.
So it's close relative to cubes. It's so closely related that it can crossbreed. Which is
Okay, neat.
something I'm
Very
trying to
neat.
do here soon. I'm working on it.
There's a few plants that are like that in the plant kingdom that are close enough you can crossbreed them or propagate them together. Cool. Thank you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and get to the reading. Why don't we? Stop wasting time. We'll get into the reading and then we'll talk about it after and have some great notes as well. We are in the WayBack.
That's awesome. Mark lost 30 pounds, not 50, 30 pounds.
So I'm talking about big guy in wintertime too.
Soon to be 50.
Cool. In the wintertime, the hardest part of the year.
Yeah. I
Patty
put
Bryant.
on some weight too.
that's why I told you that's what the holidays are for, man. Some little skinny guy like me could use every pound he can get. I hold on to those pounds in the summertime. As long as I can, anyway. They come right off.
not literally.
Second. Yeah, 100%, brother.
Not literally.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, week 10, and Patty Bryant's the author of The WayBack, you guys. If you haven't caught on, we're in week 10 already at this point. We get a little bit of philosophical, motivational speaks every week from this book, and it's great. We call it The WayBack Wednesdays. Let's go ahead and get into it. Week 10 is listen more than you talk. most successful people I've known are the ones who do more listening than talking. Bernard M. Help me with this last name, Mary. Barach.
Baroque, Baroque,
Barach.
Baroque. Yeah,
Oh Lord.
one of those.
One of
I'll
those.
show everybody the name
Or at
here.
least it's pretty close. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that quote is the most successful people I've known are the ones doing more listening than talking. During a conference I attended, we were split into pairs of two and given tasks without knowing the end goal. The instructions were for one person to tell about a time when he or she felt confident and what made him or her feel that way. When the time was up, as it was explained to us, the other person would tell about a time when he or she felt confident. My partner told about a time when she was an administrative assistant for a high tech company. Every morning, she was expected to send out updates and the lunch menu for that day. She found out that most people were deleting her emails without reading them, and she wanted to do something about it. She was a very talented artist and loved to draw. So each day, she decided to draw a funny cartoon or inspirational quote and attach it to the daily update and menu. People loved it. It was a fun way to start the day, and she began feeling much more confident. When the facilitator announced that the time was up, we all expected the other partner, in this case me, would share a story about a time when we felt confident. But to our surprise, the facilitator asked us to now use this time to repeat back to the original partner story that they had just explained, using as much detail as possible. The true exercise was being a good listener. If a partner wasn't paying attention and instead using the time to craft here's their own story about what when they felt confident, they weren't truly listening. It was an interesting exercise and demonstrated what so often happens in conversations. Great story, you guys. Today's prompt is: are you a good listener? And if you were quizzed on what someone just told you, would you be able to repeat it back, or do you spend that time crafting what you will say next? I'll just go ahead and start off. I'm horrible with this. I'm horrible. And you can equate it to neurodivergency, right? And you can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on, but it's something that is a negative trait, and it's something I'm very aware of in my life, and something I'm very cautious of. And I try to, really just be genuine and let my words flow out of me rather than contracting, curating what I want to say. Because when I've done this in my life, usually whenever I get to the point of saying whatever I thought I was going to say, it is totally different. It's just like our expectations. That's why we don't have assumptions, right, about what we're going to say and what we're going to do. And that's a prime example. Bleeds right into the four agreements in that aspect. What do you guys think?
I think you can get into trouble if you're sitting there and you're just thinking about what you're going to say next, because you're not really focusing on what the other person is saying. You're just thinking ahead, and then like you said, you can get in trouble with that because, the conversation, they might start changing it and it's not going to fit what you were thinking, you know.
100%.
And that's, a perfect example of us having two ears and one mouth, and it's not always a time thing. You can have take a moment to reply, to have a comeback, think of the right thing to say after you've processed everything that they've said, so you're giving them your full attention, and then you're really absorbing what they're saying, and you're showing them respect, by
Yeah.
listening, and that carries a lot of weight because a lot of times, I'm sure you guys have felt it too. You're talking to someone, and you know that they're just processing in their head. They're not really listening to you, but they're getting ready to go with what they're thinking, you know, and it's like, why am I talking then? If you just already have this thought and you're rehearsing this in your head already, you
Of
know,
course.
it's just it's defeating to yourself to do that to people. So
Yeah, it can feel that way, especially if you take it personally, 100%, man. But the
mhm,
problem with that communication is that obviously you want to tally down because when people are having a conversation, they're making several points, and you want to like tally those things down. And we can only hold on to so many things and pay attention to a conversation. So you're like,
right.
hey, I wanted to go back to what you were saying before, and it's hard for us to do that.
Mhm.
A thing that's helped me in life is you guys will see it. I literally have my notepad. That's what I'm going to go grab. I'll be writing notes down as people are having conversations, and I'll just like brief it. I'll like do three or four words that will make me click and remember back to that idea that you were talking about. So I can just do that real fast, and I'm actively listening while I'm doing it, and then I can get back to listening, and then I can come back to all my ideas. I feel like that I'm a better listener that way. if I'm only like 80% listening as opposed to only 20% listening. Yeah. Eddie, what do you think, man?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I struggle with that too, especially when I'm at like local events and stuff. And people are trying to talk to me and all and it's just I'm bouncing around from conversation to conversation. And for one, I get those wires crossed, and then also when I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody, it's oftentimes I'm trying to think about what I'm going to say next instead of what they're saying to me and processing what they're saying to me. And I oftentimes will put my foot in my mouth because of that.
Well said, brother. Yeah.
But
Well,
very relatable.
I want to ask you before we get to the prompt and answer the prompts. Let me ask you this: what do you do to divert that and to try to steer that ship?
Say that
Control
again.
your thoughts.
Like, yeah, what do you do to try to stop yourself from being that kind of person where you're actively listening to someone rather than passively listening to them? Like, what's your tool in your tool bag? And you can think about it. I don't really have an answer either. I have to think about it.
I just focus my attention, kind of
Writing
wherever
down.
just listen to what the person's saying, you know.
Right.
But I love how, writing it down. That is an excellent idea. I like that
Yeah,
a lot.
because you want to be able to like contribute something to the conversation. You don't want to just sit there and listen. Like, I'm hearing what you're saying. Well, yeah, what do you think though? That's
Yeah.
the follow up question. Because if you haven't thought about it, you're like, okay, well now I have to sit here and think about it, which is always a great attribute to have. Take 10 seconds and sit and contemplate and think about it. But at least you already have a guideline of, especially like I said, when people are going on several different topics, you've already written it down. So that's the biggest thing I do in my life. And obviously, awareness is the first step. Noticing, yeah, I'm not listening to what they're saying. I'm just trying to get my word in. And how narcissistic and egotistical of me to do that. Like, I need to be involved in their conversation, which I tend to do more when it's a more serious topic. Like, if this is us sitting here shooting the crap, like, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. No kidding. But I'm also listening. But if it's a more serious event, like you guys were explaining something bad that happened to you, I'd be fully locked in. And one thing that I talk about a lot in the show is I have a bad tendency to, whenever somebody's having a bad experience or a bad situation, to try to coddle them down. I will explain, well, I've been through this situation and I've been through that. And it's showing the person that you're not listening to what you're saying. They're saying, like, you don't understand. This is my situation. You're trying to say that you felt this before, but you haven't because you're not me. So it's really something that I try to do whenever I'm listening to somebody deeply, is let them speak and me not try to intervene my thoughts into their thing unless they ask for it. Now, if they ask, hey, well, what did you do whenever you were in this situation? Or have you ever been in this situation? Then I'll relay my information to them because that's giving me a platform to speak. It's a more sensitive subject.
It's
A lot of
something
times
that.
conversations.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Nerdy.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say a lot of times in conversations, sometimes the person, like you're saying, they don't want you to share your experience. They just want someone to listen and they want someone to vent to.
100%. Yeah, man.
And you just gotta clear your mind of what you're thinking in your experience and just listen to their whole experience.
It's hard to do.
It seems relatable enough, that that they're wanting you to share your experience, then go with it, and then it should come out
Definitely.
naturally without having to rehearse it in your head, because you're focused on what they're saying, so you're gathering it all and not thinking about, yeah, this happened to me and yeah, it sucks, whatever. You can just go right to it because you paid attention the whole time.
Couldn't agree more, man. Larry, what do you think, man?
One of the ways that I try to deal with it is I try to consciously be more aware of when I'm in those situations. I need to actively slow down, and that's the big part. Is I just need to actively be aware and try to slow down, and I don't have to get everything out at once. I need to just a little bit at a time. It'll come out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I struggle with so many people's names too, is because a lot of the conversation isn't really sticking because I'm just waiting for my turn to talk.
100%. And
Are you really listening?
yes, sir. Exactly right. I think about this as this is like the Akashic records. Those thoughts, I feel like, come to us when we need them, and if we hold on to them, we're pushing other ideas back. Same idea with the necklace, like we were talking about. So this idea of manifestation, people talk about a lot. You're not trying to manifest the things you need. You're trying to let yourself stop yourself from holding the things back that are trying to come to you, and that's what happens whenever we do that. We're fighting it. We're pushing it away by holding on to a thought rather than just letting it go. And if we really need to say it, it'll come. It'll come whenever it's time. Just let it go. Derek?
What? I was just going to give an example of like remembering names. I don't know how they do it, but I don't know if you guys ever been on a cruise ship before. You have a cabin steward, and he's assigned to like the area like of that deck that you're staying on. So we might have 50 to 100 cabins or something like that. And by the end of the first day, he's walking past you in the hallway, and he's like, "Hey, Derek, how you doing?" And I'm just like, "How does this guy remember?" And he remembers everybody, And there's got to be some kind of trick to being able to do that, because I can be in a conversation with someone and then walk away and be like, he told me his name. Was it Bob? Was it John? I just, I get lost
I
in
do the
that
same
because I
thing.
don't know what we talked about. But
Yeah.
I'm always impressed with people that are able to pull up someone's name like that. I think that's a gift right there. There's gotta be some kind of skill that they learn
Yeah.
after like
You,
the
you make a
road
great
especially.
point. I always try to make the argument to people that whenever I'm introducing myself to people, they'll be like, "Hey, my name's Jake," and I'm like, I'm constantly just thinking about telling them my name that I just totally bypass their name, and I do that a lot, and it's something I'm very verbally aware of, and I tell my friends that I'll be like, whenever I'm talking to people and they say, "Hey, my name's Josh," I'm like, okay, what was that guy's name? I didn't remember because I was so worried about telling him my name rather than listening to him, knowing that my name would just come out naturally. Like I don't have to think about my name. When somebody asks you your name, you just say it. And that's what you were waiting for. But while they're speaking, you're listening. Something I struggle with, man.
I struggle remembering people's names when I already have a screen name attached to them. Like,
That's a good point too.
like
Maybe I have to
I
relearn.
didn't have much trouble remembering you or Oreo or Derek,
Right.
but
Right.
somebody like Herbie, where his nickname is a name, it's
Hmm.
hard for me to switch
I get
to
it.
what his real name is. I know what his real name is, but it took me a few times, and there's a couple times where I was like, "What was it again?"
They do.
Yeah, that happens a lot. It's
There's a few
communication.
funny ones I threw up there, but yeah,
100%. It's why we have to not take things personally whenever somebody gets our name wrong, or not have assumptions about how a conversation's supposed to go whenever you're having it. It's why we need to practice our agreements when we're talking about it. Because, there's three of us here on camera. You guys watch it. We do it all the time. We like say something at the same time, like, oh, I'm sorry, wait, wait, wait. That's proper etiquette for having a conversation rather than being like, no, 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 I was stalking. Let me finish getting my point across. It's like, you don't have to be that arrogant because that's how you like have build good relationships with people and build what they call friendships with
but
people is
but
by speaking to them
I
kindly.
want to remember people's names. Like once I got to know Glassic, I remember her name.
Hundred
And
percent.
same thing with there was another one that really stuck to me. It was like some people are just trickier for me. I don't know why. And like sometimes in the chat, some names just fly past. I just didn't see it. I don't know why. Oh, Jesus this morning. That was another interesting one. Yeah. Yeah, I know his name now.
Okay.
Johnson.
Joseph.
Good old, yeah.
Okay, man. Let me pull up a video.
To not correct people, like they've said my name, like they've called me Doug, and I've just let it
Uh,
slide, just not to correct them, and just
right.
it doesn't hurt me. I've been called worse,
Right.
Doug's not
Yeah.
a bad name. And then but then later on they're like, "Oh, I was talking to Doug," and then who?
Right.
Oh, you mean
100%.
Derek?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is why
I
our third
told
agreement
you it was
is
Doug.
yeah. This is why our third agreement talks about communication and literally states that not having assumptions or not having expectations leads to clear communication. It leads to bringing everything out in the wide open. There's no assumptions. There's no expectations. Hey, man, you might tell me your name's Derek, but I'm really bad at remembering names. You just have to bear with me, man. I'll get it eventually, or I'm gonna
Yeah,
try. It's like the way my brain works. I don't really do well with names. And then at that point, it takes the weight off your shoulders. Like, oh, he's not doing it on purpose. He's not being ignorant to it. He's just the way his brain works. He's fighting the grain. At least he's making an effort.
yeah.
But some people are inconsiderate, which I can understand people's sentiment towards, saying the wrong thing like that. Let me pull up my phone here so I can pull up these quotes from Lao Tzu. I want to play a quick video here from Alan Watts, and then I'm going to read a quick quote from Lao Tzu, and then I think Mary has some videos to get into.
I don't have any videos, just McCann.
But
Okay, sweet.
if you talk all the time, you never hear what anybody else has to say.
I'll fix this. Just one sec.
Thank you, sir.
Let's do it like that.
That'd be a lot better. People can actually read it because it's a little sped up just to make it a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if you talk all the time, you'll never hear what anybody else has to say. And therefore all you'll have to talk about is your own conversation. The same is true for people who think all the time. That means, when I use the word think, talking to yourself. Subvocal conversation, the constant chit-chat of symbols and images and talk and words inside your skull. Now, if you do that all the time, you'll find that you've nothing to think about except thinking. And just as you have to stop talking to hear what others have to say, you have to stop thinking to find out what life is about. And the moment you stop thinking, you become into immediate contact with what Krzyzewski called, so delightfully, the unspeakable world. The most ordinary sights and sounds and smells. The texture of shadows on the floor in front of you. All these things without being named and saying, that's a shadow, that's red, that's brown, that's somebody's foot. When you don't name things any longer, you start seeing them. Because, say, when a person says, I see a leaf, immediately one thinks of a spearhead-shaped thing outlined in black and filled in with flat green. No leaf looks like that. No leaves. Leaves are not green. That's why Lao Tzu said, the 5 colors make a man blind, the 5 tones make a man deaf. Because if you can only...
Okay. I want to make a quick comment on that video, and I'm sure you guys will agree, but I want to get your guys' input. It frames this question from a different point of view, right? Because the way that we speak or listen rather than speaking is the same concept of thinking. It translates over to the same kind of concept. And this bleeds a little bit into the first agreement of impeccability about how we talk to ourselves politely, so therefore we talk to others politely too. And sometimes talking to others politely, being impeccable with your word, is sometimes not using your word. That's the like the other side of the opposite, if you will. The anti side of it. So that sometimes to be a great listener, to be a great talker, you have to be a good listener. You have to shut your mouth and learn how to listen. Nerdy, again, has taught me totally about this, and I'm sure it's not original on I'm sure he picked it up from somebody as well. But the idea of replacing you words with I when you're lecturing to someone. I would do it like this, or maybe if I tried it like this would be totally different. And then people are listening to you going, yeah, I could do it this way.
It's in here.
You got a quote in here for that?
It is in here. So
One
safe
thing-
space principles. And I think it's the next page, number 5. Use I statements instead of you statements. Directly related to number 4. Well, you have to read them all to get to that. We should do an episode on just the safe space principles.
You should. I'll write that down.
But says, remember, we don't all have the same answers to life. What is right for you may not be right for someone else. So we can't tell others what they need to do. All we can do is share our experiences and give them space they need to do what is best for them. That way, we all grow together.
Using the I though, I would caution you. I wouldn't say if I were you, because you're not.
Correct.
if
You
it
got to
were-
watch that you word. Yeah, it's
but
more about
if-
avoiding
if-
using the you word than it is using the I.
If it were
Yeah.
me, this is what I would do. No, if I was you, this is what I would do. But if it were
Correct,
me, this
buddy.
is what I might do. And then it's not putting it on them at all. Because if I was you, that's kind of really telling what to do.
Well, it started out here with directly related to number 4. Number 4 is don't give unsolicited advice.
That's what I was just going to mention. You have to make sure that they're asking for it, because if they're not asking for it, one, it's none of your business, and 2, they're probably not ready for it unless they're ready to asking what can I do to change? What can I do to be different? Then they're had enough and they're motivated enough.
Specifically says, don't say what you need to do is.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
But,
I get it.
yeah.
I'm guilty of that, and I do that still, and I'm very conscious of it. And most of the time, after it pops out of my mouth, it's just why we need to take a second and think about what we say rather than just saying it.
And
Listening
in order
is
to
so
address
beneficial.
this one, they say what you should ask is, what would be more helpful for you today? Are you looking for advice or just wanting to share your experience with us?
100%, dude.
So we'll have an episode on that. That's good stuff.
Another one I liked before was I had used before was what I need from you is, and then say something, what I need from you is, do you want advice on this situation, or do you want to just vent to me, or I need you to tell me,
Yeah, my friend calls it the 3 rules that whenever your friend's going through something tough that you ask them, do you say, do you want some space? Do you want to talk about it, or do you want a distraction? I think it's beautiful, man. It's because you either want to talk about it or you don't. But if you do, if you don't want to talk about it, maybe we can I can leave you alone, or I can distract you from it. We can sit down and watch a movie or whatever, right? and some distraction from it. It's the most beautiful way to offer help to someone who doesn't know what they want. I mean, when you're down, right, you don't know what you want or need, right? So just ask people, and it gives them three simple options.
I never thought about that third option. That's a good one. Yeah. You want
Yeah, man. You want a distraction because obviously I can be with you and I can leave you alone, but maybe they don't want that. Maybe like I don't want you to leave, but I don't want to talk about it either. Like because I'm that kind of guy, dude. I would rather just sit around and talk about music or something whenever I'm down, rather than to talk about the issue because I'll ruminate on it. I'll do exactly what you said, and that we already know what that leads to. That's like you're on the hamster wheel, if you will. Like you're spinning around in those negative thoughts and creates anxiety and negative feelings and emotions.
Well, a nice thing
So, yeah,
about option 3 is it gives them an opportunity to give them option 1 or 2. Like, hey, let's
Yes,
go for a
dude.
walk. If you're going for a
Yeah.
walk, it's like you can event or I can give you advice. It's up to you.
There's a beautiful video on it. And I'll see if I can pull it up here in a minute. That basically says exactly that. It's two. It's a girl. I'm not sure who the actor is, but in this rendition, it's two characters. It's a bird and a mushroom, I think. But yeah, they're sitting there having this conversation, saying basically, like, I had a bad day. It's like, well, what do you want? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want a distraction, or do you want me to leave you alone? That's beautiful, man. It's the best way to be. Because it's like I'm not obligated to give you anything other than my time, and to you it feels like you're not taking very much other than some advice or time or whatever, and it works out for both people because it's what they need or don't need. 100%.
Yeah, and they might end up leaving. Like they went over you for company, and they might end up leaving. Kind of unfulfilled. If you take
Yes.
control. Well, if I was you, and if this and that. But if
Yeah,
you
man.
give them options, that puts the ball in their court, and then they can
100%.
drive or whatever. Feeling satisfied or whatever. But you did your part as a friend to listen and to see what they wanted.
100%. It speaks to the different kinds of love languages, and sometimes people's love language is not words of affirmation. There's nothing you can say or do to help those people. You just have to let them be and let them heal on their own. There are people that are like that. Everyone has a different love language, the way they receive information and love and kindness. 100%. Just like we all have the same aversion to hate, right? Some people are going to like have different reactions to that kind of stuff. Some people don't care; it doesn't bother them, and some people are totally allergic to it. 100%. And I think what Alan Watts was highlighting on that our thoughts can be the same way as our words. That's important to listen, just as it is important to, not have thoughts all the time. And if you're thinking about what you're going to say while somebody's talking, is like it's just mind virus. Nerdy worded is or metaphorize it as the gremlins, thought gremlins. That's what they are. They're like, I need to speak. I need to talk. It's ego stepping and like, let me come on, just shut this guy up so I can say what I need to say. It's like we'll have to play those games, dude. Like we control our mind. Our minds don't control us. Like we're the ones in the driver's seat. Our emotions might like sway our mind, but we have to be the strong ones to hold it into place.
So I think good time for more clues. We're about halfway through the show, so let's. The prize, and I'll repeat, is some genetics. I've got Ghost and Ochracea centrata black caps. Ochracea centrata is like it's Cubensis' older brother. The name Ochracea centrata describes what the mushroom looks like. It is ochre pertaining to the middle. That's what Ochracea centrata means. So this one, instead of it being ochre in the middle, it does start that way. It starts out ochre, but when it matures, it turns black or dark blue in the middle of the cap. So that's why it's called Ochracea centrata black caps. So in the can, my first clue was it was an accidental invention. The original inventor thought it was a failure because it was too sticky. But cool thing about this invention is that I have this thing that's in my can can hold about a ton of weight or more.
Okay.
Mark's going on about birds still from last episode.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for being here.
Not caramel. But It certainly is sticky. That I agree.
Did it ever have a commercial with a hard hat?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But basically, all you're getting is these two genetics, and I might super glue. Robert Skinner got it.
Yes.
Congrats,
Okay,
Robert
sweet.
Skinner.
Congratulations.
We got
Yeah,
super
congratulations.
glue.
Okay, sweet. Cool.
So,
Wazzy
you're-
came in there a little late, buddy.
Yeah,
Cheers. Yeah, make sure to sign up on the mysticjourneyschurch.org website. As soon as you sign up for a membership, it's free to sign up for just the basic membership. And then you can put your address in the website. And we'll be able to ship you out your package. Thank you guys so much for participating and congratulations.
Make sure you sign up for membership and reach out to me. Make sure I know that whose account is who, so I send it to the right person.
Definitely.
But cool, interesting facts about super glue. I love super glue. It's the hobbyist's worst nightmare and best friend. So
No,
it
if you
was
get it on your fingers, it never comes off.
accidentally invented in 1942 by Dr. Harry Coover. He's a chemist at Eastman Kodak. Kodak, the camera company.
Camera company? Okay, sweet.
Who was trying to develop a clear plastic for precision gun sights, so like scopes, during World War II.
Complete sense, dude.
He dismissed the substance because it was too sticky, but rediscovered its potential years later in 1951. And just
Freaking
one
neat.
square inch of super glue bond can hold over a ton, which is more than 2,000 pounds of weight. So, for context, 1 square inch of adhesive surface area is 1 drop of super glue. So 1 drop can hold 2,000 pounds.
No wonder if you get that thing on anything, it does not come off, dude.
And
a little bit of rubbing alcohol does the trick.
During the
Yeah,
Vietnam
that's the
War,
worst.
medics used a sterile, sprayable form of cyanoacrylate, which is super glue, to quickly seal wounds and stop bleeding in injured soldiers in the battlefield. Now it's more commonly known as new skin.
Yep, liquid band-aids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have some too as well. Give it in my foraging bag.
It's also used in forensics. Forensic scientists use the cyanoacrylate fume.
Hey, man.
They use the fumes to reveal latent, invisible fingerprints on non-porous surfaces like glass or plastic. Which makes sense.
Cool.
If you've ever used super glue on like clear plastic or clear glass, you notice
Pull
that
anything off.
big time.
Yeah.
And it reacts to natural fibers like cotton, wool, and it causes a rapid exothermic reaction, which makes it really, really hot, and it can cause a fire.
Wow.
It's also used in aquarium hobbyists use it to attach coral fragments to rocks because it's waterproof after curing, and it's safe for use with aquatic life. And most people don't know this one. If you get it on anything and you want it off, you can remove it with acetone. So it's very, very, very strong,
as well.
but it can be dissolved and removed from the skin with acetone.
Yeah, 90% rubbing alcohol or more works well.
I had a car that a rock flew up and hit the windshield and left a little berry on there, you know, a divot in the windshield. And I put some super glue on there because I went to the auto parts store and they sell a kit. And I looked at the little tube and I'm like, that's super glue. They're just, you know, scamming people $20 for this little kit to fix your cracked windshield. And it was just super glue and like plastic tape. So I had super glue at home and I poured some in there and it turned it actually clear again, like that divot, and then it didn't end up spreading. So I used a razor blade to scrape it flat, but it kind of filled it in and everything, and it worked. And that was really awesome. I mean, there's a lot of different, I think, probably crazy uses that people have done with that stuff. You know,
I just got a new chip in my windshield, and I'm gonna try that.
There you go.
Okay, sweet.
And use a razor blade because, like, yeah, that makes perfect sense because I've used those kits before, and they had that little piece of plastic that just makes it flat, so it's more flush with your windshield, and then you use like a razor blade to scrape it off. I'm like, it's just super glue.
Wow, sweet. Mark says here that musicians and bassists use it for their fingers to be able to play guitar and bass. That's pretty neat.
Like artificial callus.
Like a finger tip cups. They actually make them out of silicone and different materials that you can put on there. I've never used them because I'm not a bitch, but I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Tender fingers.
Robert. Robert says, "Yeah, I'm not an amateur." Robert says it also makes a great gloss finish for wood pins made on a lathe. That's pretty cool.
I've also used it
Here's
for
Mikey.
rings. So like I make my rings out of
Mike, sorry.
They get super shiny. But this one I did not shine it up on the outside. This is like raw on the outside, but the inside is. But yeah, like I make bent wood rings out of super glue, and it turns inlays, inlays with stone. It's mostly super glue.
Okay.
You just put a bunch of rocks inside your ring, and then you put super glue in it, and then you re-grind it, and you just get like a perfect finish.
Gloss. Wow.
It's nuts.
So it must be some form of epoxy or something like that, which makes sense when they try to use it to make gun lenses, scope lenses.
I can't say it. Cryano.
Do you know
or something?
Do you know what caused the mix-up? Like how the accident happened?
No, he was just exploring different types of plastics and stuff, different materials.
Right, so it's some kind of chemistry thing. Yeah, yeah.
Trying to find one that was clear. But a great thing about that material is it does get crystal clear if you get it
when it dries.
If you do it
right and flat. That's the whole point of the tape that he was mentioning. If you put the tape over it, it causes that clear layer to happen.
Yep.
I'm talking out of pocket. I have no idea about any of this, but I learned a lot.
But yeah.
Let me read that quote here from Lao Tzu. From the ancient Chinese text by Lao Tzu, or from the Tao Chi Ching by Lao Tzu, meaning that focusing too hard on rigid categories like limited sets of colors, sounds, or tastes blinds people to the infinite, nuanced reality of the world, leading to missed deeper truths and experiences by getting stuck in definitions and sensory overindulgence rather than inner wisdom. Sensory overload. The full quote often continues, "The 5 tones make a man deaf. The 5 flavors dull the taste." This suggests that the expressive fixation on external pleasures and fixed perceptions dull one's senses of mind. We talked a little bit about this in the Bhagavad Gita, and we'll get a little bit more into that on Monday. By defining and categorizing everything, example, seeing only blue, yellow, red, green, black, we miss the infinite spectrum of shades and experiences, becoming blind to the richness of life. This is what Alan Watts was talking about in the second half of that video. The Taoist philosophy, the teaching encourages sages or wise people to cultivate themselves with virtues and not indulge in sensory pleasures, choosing inner truth over external temptations. So yeah, it's basically the gist of that being, if you limit your perception to just 5 colors, you can't appreciate the vast, beautiful world of all the colors. Much like limiting music to 5 notes makes you deaf to complex melodies. So if you could only hear 5 notes.
The freeze. Maybe you went sideways.
Something.
But I think like what he was talking about also was that the outer pleasure, the inner pleasures versus the outer, where the outer would be lasting, and the inner pleasures that he's talking about, that self-thinking and everything, it's only going to be temporary, and not lead to anything,
I think HB was taking that not missing an opportunity to shut up a little too. Oop, there we go. Here we are. Yep, now we lost Eric.
My dog went up on his bed, so
there we are.
I looked at them and I said, "Don't you ever say that to me again."
There we
Cheers.
go. That's better. What were you saying?
Literally it. I finished just in time. That was
Oh,
it.
good. So yeah, let's see what the chat has to say. I'm gonna reread that question. Looks like there's some echo there.
Hold on 1 second. I'll fix that.
Mic check 1, 2. Thank you, everyone, for joining and enduring our technical difficulties. I hope
Today's
you're,
prompt
enjoying the show.
was, are you a good listener? If you were quizzed on what someone just told you, would you be able to repeat it back, or do you spend that time crafting what you will say next? So just take an opportunity to think about, when you might have, struggled with listening in the past, or when you were really, really good at it and you actually succeeded. But yeah, I think we all have moments like that.
HB, I think your microphone is on mute, or it's showing the mute thing on my screen. But I took a class in college, and it was on communication. And I thought, oh, this is going to be so easy. So I've been talking my whole life, or whatever, and that was like the most difficult class that I ever took. It really was, and basically he was the professor was so challenging, with a lot of things like the agreements, but in different forms. Like we had to write essays on different situations and how we handled them, and it just it was a really tough class. So I mean, you might think that you're gifted at communicating, but you go take a class like that, and you're like struggling, and I think I grew quite a bit from that class. Absolutely. I learned a lot, and I didn't take it personally that, it was a struggle, because I was
Yeah,
learning
dude.
in different ways to handle situations, even though like I started reading books um when I was younger, and one of my favorites is still that Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Mm.
That's an old
Yeah.
book, and I read that a long time ago. And so, I mean, that stuff, I've read stuff like that to help me, but it was no help in college in that communications class.
What you're speaking to refers to the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's what I talk about a lot, about how people think that they're good talkers, usually aren't. They're underestimating they're overestimating their abilities, but they're underperforming. But people who underestimate their speaking abilities usually do a lot better, because they realize that how much they have to learn to be a good speaker, like how the nuances of really being. I mean, let's be real. If you don't have very good common sense, you're not going to be a great speaker. There's nuances that are very intricate when it comes to speaking to someone, picking up on body language, and using our agreements to not make assumptions or take it personally about their body languages or what they say and stuff like that. It's very difficult. 100%. And I have some notes here. I talked a little bit about what our suffering comes from. It's our desire, it's our aversion and our ignorance. A little bit in the Bhagavad Gita. We're going to talk more about that on Monday again. But our ignorance is one thing that stops us so much from suffering, from being happy. It's our suffering. Root of our suffering is our ignorance, from not knowing how to be a good speaker, not knowing how to have good compassion. It's this is why I talk about being on the bottom of that roller coaster. Whenever two people are not emotionally fit, they bump heads, and that's what keeps happening on the bottom of a roller coaster. I would argue that positivity equals survival. I know that the yin and yang of it all is that hate equals survival too. Death and murder, that equals survival too. But in the end of it all, positivity really equals survival. And when you're really down and out and if you hit your rock bottom, you're going to learn more compassion, more empathy for how you speak to people and how you listen to people. Because again, being a good speaker is sometimes like learning how to listen. It's
I have
difficult.
a little bit more respect for people that have been there, hit rock bottom, and have picked themselves back up.
Yes, sir. It shows character.
They have more context for what life could have been
100%.
and how things are.
I see it here in our community that a lot of people want to judge people for how they act or what they say or what they do. And it's like the way that I see those people, I see potential in those people because I see the try in them. And you're not understanding that if they didn't try, they would be the next murderer or the next, total piece of shit that you ran into on the street. But they're actually making an effort. You might not like them or you might not like what they have to say or any of that, but they're trying. They're making an effort. And you're not seeing the effort they put in. We were just talking about this earlier with the rose-colored glasses. We talked about it on our show last week. It's what people do to people when they feel like they're more But the opposite end of the spectrum is, I don't know what color glasses you would call them, but we're looking at people through a negative lens, a really dark colored glass. And we're seeing them as, oh, you're not trying, you're not doing anything, you're a piece of crap. How could you say something like that? It's like you don't know their mind. Maybe they're putting in more effort than you ever could. That's something to be really aware of. And maybe they're actually trying harder than you can imagine. And if at least if they're making some kind of effort, then I think we should give people credit. I think
Showing
we
up
should love
is-
everyone, but yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It's
easier to-
first part, and then keep showing up and having you don't know
Yes, sir.
like they could be doing their best, and you could be like, oh, this guy's messing up all over the place, but you can't think that because they're doing their best, they're showing up,
They're doing their
they're
best, bro.
putting the effort. Let them keep growing and encourage them.
And remember, if you were them, you couldn't do any better. Don't be so arrogant to be like, if I was them, I could do better. Because you probably couldn't. You cannot step in somebody else's shoes and live their life and do better than they can because they're them. They're living their life. If you were them, you'd be doing the same thing, or probably even worse. I always tell people. It's like maybe they're like, because they're them. They've woken up every single day with themselves for their whole entire life. You're just going to step inside their body with their mind and be like, I got everything under control. It's like we barely have a grasp on our own damn lives. Yeah, at the end of the day. Yeah, that's why we try not to do preaching here. That's what we talk about that a lot. We try to do teaching, not preaching, but teaching from the student chair. Like showing them, hey, I don't know everything, but I think I know the answer to number one. It's impeccability. Oh, really? Well, I know this thing called don't take things personally. I think that's number two. I'm like, oh, really? I never heard about that. What does that mean? And when people start explaining, you listen rather than speaking and thinking you know better. You learn so much to learn, dude.
I went to Bible study earlier this evening, and the subject tonight was controlling your tongue. And then
Wow.
it ties
How
into
ironic.
tonight and tonight. But one of the things that we were talking about was like it's easier to act sometimes than it is to talk. And I see that like if the new guy on the job, say you're on a construction job, and you ask one of the older guys how to do something, and they'll get all pissed off and they'll take off and do it for you instead of taking the time to show you and teach you. And that's
Damn
really
right.
not anyone. That's just feeding their
Creating a
own ego.
negative environment. Yeah.
Yeah. hmm And it's so easy for people to do that, but to teach a man to fish is a lot better for that man than it is for you to catch him the fish.
Yep. Communication, 100%. It's our third agreement. It's our third agreement. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally. I mean, sorry. Don't have expectations. I'm mixing them up now.
Tonight's that's max headroom.
Yep. I don't know if I can add anything else to that, guys. I do want to congratulate our winner. Make sure you mysticjourneyschurch.org, sign up for a membership. I had to put your information in there as well. You guys are signing up for our monthly membership, free chocolate bar with the submission. But we have to make sure that you're 21 and you have to answer a couple questions. There's no promises on that chocolate bar, so.
Robert
But that's
Skinner.
the promotion that we're doing as well.
I
If you
believe
sign up for the
Robert-
membership,
I think it was Robert
Go
that
ahead.
won tonight. Robert Skinner, writing that down.
okay, sweet. I haven't seen you before, man. Cheers. I don't know where you came from. Thank you for joining in. Glad to have you here. Cheers, everyone else. We'll be getting into the Bhagavad Gita again on Monday. Right now, we still have an open slot for Friend Friday. Go ahead, Derek. Is that what you're going to mention?
That's the way we want
Yeah.
Friday.
So yeah, Friday we still got an open slot. If anybody wants to come up on the show, what we'll do is we'll do our our 4 agreements reading, and then the last 20-30 minutes of the show we'll invite somebody on to just shoot the crap and kind of talk about whatever they want to. We'll let them take the floor if they want to talk about whatever they want to talk about, their hobbies, or if they want to talk about a specific philosophical idea or spiritual religion idea or whatever. Come on up and shoot the crap. As long as you're respectful, we'll give you the platform. I do have to warn if anybody is being disrespectful, we have a click button. It's just a matter of about 30 seconds or so. So if you have something negative to get out, you're going to want to do it in about 30 seconds. But no, seriously.
We have some really awesome people. We don't have
Yeah, that's why.
we have the opportunity.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, man. So yeah, I would love to get some like to be able to put names to faces and hear you guys' voice and y'all get y'all's ideas out. You know, whatever you again your hobbies, whatever we can actually have a conversation together. So that's what Fridays are about. If you guys want to do it, reach out to us. You can drop a comment on our YouTube videos. You can also reach out to us on Instagram or on Discord. Um, our links are in the link tree on YouTube. And if you have any mycology questions, reach out to Nerdy. Um, medicinal medicine questions, or if you guys need um, tinctures or teas or anything like that, you can reach out to me on Discord or Instagram, Headbuster, all lowercase 290. And also, you guys visit Colorado Myco League for all your mycology stuff if you're here in the Colorado area. Here's
And
the
don't forget to get your peeps from Dollar Tree. I just polished this sucker off.
watermelon.
Yo,
You got
yeah.
watermelon?
Sour watermelon, man. This
I
year
don't
they
know
have
if I could do that.
one of my other favorites is the fruit punch. It's one they've been bringing back these last couple years. It's a good one.
Okay.
But this year's flavor, the specialty flavor, which I think is a weird one, Rice Krispie treats.
Okay.
So
Kind of marshmallowy marshmallows.
right, I'm like so it's rice flavored marshmallow. I guess.
I guess. Because they have marshmallow flavored rice. Those are Rice Krispies.
So I don't know.
So
I haven't tried it. But
what kind of game of Inception are we playing? They will take an Oreo and then put it inside of a Reese's and then put that Reese's inside of an Oreo. I mean, we've lost our minds now.
The worst Oreo flavored thing that they made, because they did the combinations. They did Oreo Coke and then Coke Oreos at the same time. And the
They do
Coke
this a lot.
Oreos were okay, but the Oreo Coke was not okay.
Okay.
I've never tried that. I like those golden Oreos. Those were pretty good. I tried those and the lemon ones. Dollar General, I don't know if out there, but here they have different Mountain Dew flavors several times a year, and they're really tasty. But oh, they are so loaded with sugar. I a ton of sugar, like probably 40% more than a Coke. You know, it's ridiculous amount.
It's a
But
duck in the peeps.
I miss. You know, there was the Baja Blast, and you could only get it at Taco Bell. Now you can get it on shelves. You know,
Yeah.
and then you have these other specialty flavors, and some
They
of
have
them
like
are good.
Baja Midnight and Baja. There's another one. It's like mango, I think, too.
Really? Okay.
I tried the midnight one. That was pretty good, but the classic is my favorite.
You guys tried the Coke coffees? I don't even know if they still sell them anymore, but for a while they were really popular. They were pretty good too. I've even made it a couple times myself, just like mixing half Coke and half coffee. You know what I'm talking about? This was like maybe 2-3 years ago, and they would sell them on the shelves. There were Coca-Cola coffees, and they had like vanilla and like regular coffee and all this stuff. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Coke that had a hint of coffee in it.
Well, I think it was like more like half and half. I'm pretty sure.
It's kind of like those
yeah.
Starbucks cans, those little tiny cans.
No, it was just like a tall cylinder can, which is probably about 12 ounces or whatever's in a regular soda can. Because it was like a taller version, but a little skinnier than a can. So it was basically just like a regular soda can.
Interesting.
They were good though. Yeah, they were really good. It was like one of those things that I don't think lasted long because people were like, "Yeah, coffee and Coke." But I tried it and it was really good. It was like pretty decent, you know.
I used to
like
add
a sweet
coffee,
drink.
like in the morning. I'd add coffee to my Pepsi, but
Really?
it's been a long time since I did that.
So yeah, it makes sense. That had to be how it started because those flavors go really good together. The dark caramel, that Coke with the flavor of the coffee, sugar. You know,
That's pretty good.
I think
Yeah.
the best way to drink Coke is if you put a little chocolate syrup on the bottom of the glass and then pour in a little bit of Coke, and then stir it up so it gets all dissolved, and then throw in some of them cherries.
Derek
you know,
knows
jar,
what's up.
What?
and then top it off with a Coke. You know, and then
Yeah,
stir
man.
it with the straw, and that hits the spot. That
I
chocolate
used
cherry.
to make those at Gunther Tootie's. I used to work at a 50s diner. We call them a chocolate Coke, but
Yeah.
it tastes like a Tootsie Roll. It is so good. I love
Okay.
that so much.
Yeah, I'm from the South, and they definitely put peanuts and Coke down there, and that's pretty good too. The peanuts and Coke flavor.
Peanuts and Dr. Pepper. That's the way. You got to get the dry
You know,
roasted peanuts. Get your 20 ounce of Dr. Pepper and just funnel it
and
in.
Dr.
And then
Pepper, like I
you
said,
get
that'd
to
be pretty
you
good.
get to eat the peanuts as you drink the Dr.
Exactly.
Pepper.
That's
Oh,
the fucking trick right there, dude.
Do they
Oh,
sell
and you
the hot
know that
peanuts there, HB? Like they do at the
do they
gas
sell the
station?
what?
The
I
hot
doubt
peanuts?
it, man. Shit, I'm way too far west for all of me putting boiled peanuts on the counter. People be like, "What the hell is this?" I don't know. Dude, I'll answer your
What are
question.
they,
I would
devil
imagine probably
eggs?
not. It's a different world out here, man. I'm telling you, it's a different world. You know that Pepsi's actually born in the Carolinas, right?
mm,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Coke is in Georgia. Yeah, around here they got
yeah.
the boiled peanuts on the counter. They got boiled eggs and pre-rolls. Make it make sense.
That makes sense to me, dude. I used to
I
love
love
going in to get the Cajun
the
peanuts for school, dude. That would save my day. Be eating throughout class, like I would make my day.
Yeah. Not
Boiled
telling
peanuts. If you guys never had it, because most people who've never heard about it, they're like, "What? You boil peanut, dude? You have to try it. Trust me.
Mm.
We wouldn't lie to you. We make comfort food in this house. We wouldn't lie to you. It might not even be a southern thing. It might be something that's been inherited from a different culture, right? But then we kind of adopted it as our own.
if
I'm
you've
not
never
sure because
tried,
just like you mentioned, sorry, go ahead.
if you've never tried pickled eggs and pickled sausage, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, stuff's
Well, they
good,
have them on
dude.
the counter there. I meant to say pickled eggs, not deviled eggs. That would be weird if they were deviled eggs. But pickled eggs and pickled
Yeah, yeah,
and
Yeah,
those hot what do they call them? Hot hots or something?
yeah,
HB, the little wieners that are
yeah.
red hot smokies,
yeah,
the pickled red hot
yeah,
smokies.
yeah. It's like a
That's
Bahama
really
Mama or whatever, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
Tijuana Mama or whatever.
Those are
Yeah.
I prefer the ones that were like made locally by somebody and they have it in a jar
yeah.
instead of like
Yes.
the individually wrapped packages of Bahama Mamas. Like, they're all right.
Yeah.
One thing I can say about Bahama Mamas is that you will feel it the next day.
Yeah. I actually have some up there. I used to be a spice guy. I used to like do one chip challenge and stuff like that. I used to be really into that. But yeah, I quickly dipped out of that. It got too violent.
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Just
because
don't.
to your point about Pepsi and Coke being made from the Carolinas and Georgia in that area, that's why because they were that old. I mean, as soon as our country was founded, these things were starting to be developed before the West even was developed. So that's the reason why they don't have boiled peanuts on the counter over here. You know what I mean? It's a cultural thing. America's huge. It's totally like different sects depending on where you go. Four major sects, right? Depending, um, but it can break down into a million different places. 50 or so, depending on where you are.
But they'll never bring back the original recipe of Coke, with
No,
the donuts.
they gotta.
Wipe with the snow cone. No, sir. Cheers, Mike. Cheers, everyone. Hey, Mike, I got a package coming out to you
Well,
tomorrow, man. I don't think we have your full address on that website, but I think I know where you are. I'm gonna send it out to you, and it's got a return address. If it's not you, we'll get it back. I appreciate it. Yeah, somebody was saying that the other day, Mello. That our country has an interesting culture, and it's not the most beautiful painting. I'm not gonna lie, but it is interesting nonetheless. I love watching 1883, and then there's the 1923. Is that what it is? Correct. It's like 100 years later or something. Yeah, it's basically the granddaughter of the woman from the 1883. But anyway, or yeah, it's a
I
great
drove
show. It talks about the expansion of the West.
I drove through Alabama a few years ago, and I thought I was in 1923.
Yeah, it's like that, bro. It has not changed. I try to tell people that. Like that's why people like me get out of the South because people just stay there and live there and die there. I mean, it's beautiful in its own way, but you don't get like light. That's why I keep saying in this show, like the way I envision life, living life, is like sticking your hands in a pile of dirt and just watching it run through your fingers. Like there's no purpose to it. It's just sensory stuff, like experience, getting feeling, rather than just sitting there. You know, getting dirty, living life, getting out in nature. I love it. That's what you should be doing. And there's a lot of that goes on in the South, but this is a huge world. There's no reason to like contain yourself to one little pocket of the world where you got one stoplight. I mean, I come from a one stoplight town. They just added the second stoplight in before I moved. Like, it's been like that for a long time. It's an old town. I mean, to the point of Coca-Cola. I know we're getting close to the show here. I'm not gonna rant too much, but where I'm from is a small town called Elgin, South Carolina, and it's named after a watch company. So that's why that town even exists, is because of that watch company. Without that, it wouldn't even have been essential for anything to happen. But because people were going there out of town to get these watches, and companies and stuff like that, they figured, hey, we might have a convenience store here for these people that are coming to town. And you can see the same thing happen out here, out west. It's no different. I talk about this a lot. When you start to expand the country, you realize that the country was wide open land, nothing. Especially still, most of that land is still wide open out here now. So whenever you're driving for hours or even more, 100 years ago, galloping on a horse for days and days, you finally get to town and you're like, oh man, give me a Coca-Cola and a freaking chocolate Hershey's bar. I need that real bad, man. I've been out there for freaking weeks struggling. It's hard to survive, but then you get to town, and I talk about this a lot, how we kind of like taken for granted these towns because we just use them all the time. The idea was supposed to be that we live in nature, work with nature, and use the towns when we need them so we don't die for medicine and food. But now we just rely on the towns and we have no connection to nature. We've completely stepped out of nature into these cities, and they've like put a vice grip on us,
That's
money
one of the
and all this
reasons
stuff.
why I enjoy camping in the wilderness so much. I like to rough it for a few days,
Yeah, bro.
and then when
Make you
you
feel
come
good.
back, when you come
Oh
back
shit,
to
that shower
society,
feels
it's
good.
it's a little bit of a kind of a bit of a like a social shock. You're like, what in the world? Like, I'm back in the
Correct.
future again. It's
It's
weird.
like coming from a different
But
country almost.
there's also a few places I like to stop along the way that are like old historic buildings that are still operational, post office slash mercantile places like from the old west. And it's
Right on.
really is it's like you're taking these couple steps into the past and you're like, and then you come back from it. It's really, really,
Right on, man.
it's a nice experience.
It is life. It is life. It's what we should be experiencing. I talk about that. I'm not. It's um. Find your grandparents or someone of age and pay the respects for the path that they paved. I'm not disrespecting what was left behind. I'm just pleading that it does not get glorified. It's about like taking what our ancestors did and not saying, oh yeah, what they did was great, taking people's land, but we should honor it either way because we're here now, and all we can do is do that and try to be respectful with the gifts that we've been given instead of blaming and hating people for where we come from or what we've done. It starts to get really super divisive. That's what we try to do here. Is like I don't care what your color is or where you come from. I didn't have slaves. My grandparents maybe did have slaves. I don't even honestly know, but that's not me. I didn't do that. We can't be blamed for our past history of our people. Creates a lot of divisiveness.
I mean, if you got arrested for DWI, they're not going to go and throw your parents in jail.
For real, brothers. Preach, preach, man. Well
You don't
said.
suffer the consequences of your ancestors like that. I don't think that's right. It wouldn't be, or if your dad got locked up for DWI, I wouldn't expect them to throw me in jail if that happened. It that's just not how things work. But when we come to this stolen land thing, it's yeah, like you're saying, it's history and it's not pretty, but it is what it is. One of those things.
Listen to this guy about retribing, and it was very interesting on how to build a tribe, so to speak. Don't start with land first was interesting info. Yep, that makes sense because if you find the right people, they're going to be willing to go anywhere with you, do anything with you, even in the worst or best of places. It doesn't matter. And like me and we were talking about at the beginning of the show, I think whenever you're with a group of people that you feel you fit in with, you have a similar goal in mind, even if you're not always agreeing or you don't like, you're not the same people, but you have the same goal in mind. So it's like, I don't care where we go as long as we're doing this thing. Or if it is a place that you want to go, you all have the same idea of what that place is, what it has for you physically. That's a great idea. Great piece of advice. I'd love to hear that talk. Do you know who that was by? My local post office is a giant old world block fortress. Mexicans had slave de la property of went before the surname de la Cruz, for example. Oh, okay. So if they were a slave, they were a de la HB. Okay, that's pretty interesting information, man. Yeah, every culture. I mean, I'm Irish, and my background is Irish, so we have a pretty rocky history over there as well. People first, then space, then your permanent space. Wow. So you want your people, you want a temporary place to stay, shack up, and then you want to build a bigger place. That's what we're doing on Minecraft right now. I will look in history. Okay, sweet. If you can get that to us, that'd be sweet. Share it in a tea or something for us.
See me, I don't care where I'm at as long as I've got some internet.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
gotta
kind of
have
thing
like
here. We're not in a physical location, so to say.
Yeah.
The three of us are scattered, and everyone that's along this ride with us, they're scattered. But we are
yep.
like we've talked about we're looking to get someplace where we can gather, a few times a year and whatnot. So, but that that's gonna be awesome. I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward.
and I think if we let it do what you're saying, like it's gonna take some time. If we just let it go organically, it'll happen like that. We'll find the exact right place to fit everybody's needs. No one will get left out.
Yeah.
But it'll be a camping experience. It's not going to be like a plush Airbnb, like a mush fest. It's
What
going
it
to be
should be. Touching
bring
nature, living in nature, sleeping in nature.
yeah, getting reconnecting with nature kind of experience.
Yep.
Bring toilet paper kind of experience.
Right on. That's what I'm talking about. It's how I grew up, man. It ain't nothing new to me. I love it. That's why there's two things in particular that I feel like I have to have in a place anywhere I go is a place to garden and water to be able to like fish and swim and like be a redneck kid because you know I'm not a southern boy per se. Like I have a lot of those tendencies, but like that's something that's in me and like who I am is to be able to like be in nature, grow a garden and fish, be able to live off the land. Yeah, that's one thing I have to have. Two things I gotta have for sure. I haven't had it in a while. It's shit, dude. I've grown a garden every year of my life since I was a kid. In the past couple of years, I haven't. It's been like with straws, really bad. It's like it's a bug that's itching to get back in. I have a bunch of seeds too. So yeah, if you guys need any tinctures, teas, I have a huge list. I'm gonna make a full list of everything that I have. But I have a huge list of different teas and tinctures and stuff like that. One cool thing I'm working on right now is my tree gum. So I'm still working on perfecting the recipe, but it's getting pretty close. Right now, it's turning out really well. I'm actually letting Nerdy try a piece. This is some of his resin I'm picking right now.
I was super impressed by the texture,
Yeah,
but like my daughter said, if only it was pre-chewed.
correct, which I can do. I can pull it like taffy before I make it, which will essentially make it like pre-chewed. With the way it is right now, which I think I like better, is a crunchy. You crunch it in your mouth, and then it recoagulates into a piece of gum, and it's just like a real piece of gum. It's pretty cool.
It really was. It was more like wax, the texture, but it
correct.
held together like gum. It was
No,
very, very interesting experience.
it is cool.
I
I mean,
definitely
it's
make me want to
beneficial too.
experiment more.
Yeah, and I talk about this one. That's my whole shtick with medicinal herbs is that micronutrients are inside these things. There's a lot of vitamin C inside the sap, so it's good for whenever you have cough and cold. It'll help your throat get vitamin C and help hydrate and also exfoliate, expel rather. Um, but yeah, whenever you're taking these, they have tons of micronutrients inside of them that you're not getting in any other. Like name another time you're eating plant resin. You know what I mean? You're not usually. So
It's
whenever you're
also
doing that, you're getting extra nutrients.
it's antiseptic as well, so it's good for your teeth and your mouth.
Yeah, 100%. Chewing gum definitely is. And I did make one with sugar, but I have ones without sugar too. So if that's your concern. Yeah, sweet. If you guys need anything, reach out. Derek, he'll be here on Tuesday for 9 p.m. EST Bible studies for you guys again. And this weekend on Riffin with HB, we are covering Marshall Tucker. And next week will be Paramore, Haley Williams, solo stuff. So
And we will be here Friday too.
It will be a Friday, and if you want to jump on, reach out. Please reach out. We'd love to have you.
All right.
Yep.
Yep. The fiber in the center of a ginger root chews well as gum. That's pretty interesting. I love making ginger chews. I might look into that. I can make something. I can make like pulp and try something out of that too. It's a good idea, man. Maybe I'll mix them together even. Yeah, it's still an experiment. I love experimenting, just trying to like push the boundaries of what's possible. It's just a first run. Well, it's not a first run. It's like a third run, but it's the first, trial of stuff. I've tried a stevia extract. I tried agave. I tried sugar. I tried honey, and sugar crystallized the best. I think because it's already a crystal, and because resin wants to be crystal, they kind of like set each other off. Just like whenever you snap a water ball, it's frozen and it freezes. I think it was kind of the same concept, but I have no idea to be honest with you. It did work the best, either sugar or without sugar. It's the best. So I also want to experiment with adding some flavors like lime and lemon and stuff like that. Kind of add a little bit extra.
I think anise would complement that flavor really well.
Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind. I think that'd be really cool. It's the old school kind of natural flavor. Yeah. I don't have any extract. I could make some though.
And it's also antiseptic.
Correct. I have clove tincture, but I don't have anise, I don't think.
Clove would be good with that gum. And that's a nice, both anise and clove are
kind of similar. Right.
There's that brand that used to make those flavors, like Blackjack gum was anise flavored, and then there
exactly, dude. You're right, dude.
And then there was the big.
I like that input. Kind of keeps it old school, Yeah.
I think there was one that was called clove or something like that.
You might be fucking right, dude. Okay, it would make sense because it definitely wasn't that kind of candy, anise and clove. And it's kind of because whenever candy started to be invented, this is why the same conversation with sodas happened, because they were medicinal. That's the whole flavor of Dr. Pepper.
Spices.
They were it's medicinal, and then it transferred over into candies, ginger and stuff like that. To Hendrick's point, is that one of the first candies flavors like that, because there were new spices that were introduced to America. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We've already overstayed our welcome. Appreciate y'all guys being here. We'll see you guys Friday.
Good turn, guys. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, cool. Reach out to us. Get on. Somebody come on. Don't be introverts. We're all introverts, but it's hard for us to do. But we get on here. We show our face and talk. So don't be afraid. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Come on up and talk to us. You can reach out to us on our social medias, on our link tree, and if you want to be on, just let us know. And if we have more than one person, we'll get you guys on next Friday. So that's no big deal. Reach out. Just speak your truth. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Remember to do a little bit of listening whenever you're speaking to people. It'll help you out. It'll transform your life a little bit sharper. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you guys Friday.